The wait is finally over. After months of speculation, training camp footage, and press conferences, the Baltimore Ravens are officially back on the field tonight. And yes, even if it's just preseason, it feels like football is truly back in our lives. But this preseason opener against the Indianapolis Colts comes with a little more intrigue than usual, especially after head coach John Harbaugh hinted at a potential shift in how the Ravens might approach these warm-up games going forward. Now, let's be clear, Harbaugh didn't outright say that the Ravens are tossing out their conservative approach entirely. He's not suddenly planning to throw Lamar Jackson or Derrick Henry onto the field for meaningless snaps. But what he did say is that they'll be evaluating things game by game. That's a notable departure from the Stonewall policy the team has taken since the J.K. Dobbins injury in 2021. A moment that quite frankly traumatized a lot of this fan base and coaching staff alike. Since that day, the philosophy has been simple. Protect the starters at all costs. Don't let history repeat itself. And who can blame them? That Dobbins injury happened on literally the first drive of a preseason game, and the ripple effect was felt throughout the entire regular season. It changed how Baltimore viewed preseason risk management, and they've stayed on that path ever since. But maybe, just maybe, Harbaugh and his staff are wondering if that ultra-cautious strategy has come at a price. Because if we're being honest, this Ravens team hasn't always started seasons with the fire and rhythm you want from a true contender. In recent years, we've seen week 1 and week 2 performances that felt sluggish, disconnected, or just out of sync. Maybe if a few key players had taken the field in August, even for a couple drives, those early season hiccups would have been avoided. It's impossible to know for sure, but the question is valid. Would getting the offense into game shape earlier translate to fewer blown leads and more early wins? Still, let's not kid ourselves. This is a tightrope walk. On one side, you have the benefit of live reps against actual opponents. On the other, you risk seeing a critical piece of your championship puzzle go down before the real games even begin. And while injuries can happen anywhere, in practice, at home, walking downstairs, there's just something about getting hurt in a meaningless game that feels extra cruel. So Harbaugh's comments about evaluating things game by game, that's a significant shift. It opens the door for the Ravens to perhaps treat this preseason a little differently. And while you're not going to see Lamar Jackson or Roquan Smith out there tonight, you might see some fringe starters, guys who are close to securing a job but could benefit from live reps. Players like Andrew Voorhees or Daniel Failele, guys, battling in the trenches who could use the conditioning, the timing, and the rhythm that only comes in-game. And here's the thing, it's not like the Ravens have to play them for an entire half. It could be one series, one drive, a handful of snaps. Just enough to sharpen the edges without putting everything at risk. You remember how it used to be back. In the 4-game preseason era, the first game starters got a couple series, then gradually ramped up to a full half in week 3 before sitting out week 4. That model gave players time to tune up without overexposing them. Maybe Harbaugh is thinking about revisiting that structure. Or maybe this is all just smoke and mirrors. Harbaugh is notoriously calculated with the media. He could be hinting at change without any real intention to implement it. But the fact that he said anything at all, that he even acknowledged the idea, means it's being discussed behind closed doors. And honestly, it makes sense to rethink things. This season isn't just another shot at making the playoffs. This is a team that many expect to contend for a Super Bowl. Every detail matters. Every decision has weight. And if Baltimore thinks that shaking off the rust in August might help them steal a win or two in September, then it's worth considering. The Ravens aren't trying to win another preseason trophy. They're trying to be playing in February. So no, don't expect to see the star power tonight. But do expect to see urgency. Expect to see players fighting for their NFL lives. Expect to see rookies trying to prove they belong, undrafted free agents pushing for a practice squad spot, and second-year guys hungry to earn a role. And speaking of players we will see tonight, let's talk about a few of them. The spotlight is going to be bright on rookie pass rusher Mike Green. This guy has been lighting it up in training camp. He's got speed off the edge. He's got bend. He's got power. And most importantly, he's got a plan. You can already tell he's not just relying on raw talent. He's thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead, something you rarely see from a rookie. Watching him go up against Indy's offensive line, even if it's mostly backups, is going to be a treat. Ravens fans have been starving for a true edge rusher since Terrell Suggs, and Mike Green might just be the guy to finally fill that void. Then there's Malachi Starks. This is a player who hasn't taken an NFL snap yet, but the expectations are massive. The Ravens are banking on him being a day-one starter in the secondary, and tonight's game is his first chance to show he's ready. Even if he's only out there for a series or two, it's going to be appointment viewing. And you know who else I'm watching closely, Keaton Mitchell. There's a lot of buzz around him right now. Reports out of camp say he's been the most explosive player on the field. That's saying something on a roster that includes Zay Flowers and Lamar Jackson. The team has handled him carefully coming off injury, but if he gets a few touches tonight, whether on a fence or in a return game, we might see some fireworks. Wide receiver Tez Walker is another name to watch. He's been getting some real hype as a potential sleeper candidate in this receiver room. And let's be honest, the Ravens have been hunting for that later round wide receiver breakout for what feels like a decade. Walker's size, athleticism, and ability to win in contested situations gives him a real shot. If he shines in these preseason games, it wouldn't be shocking to see him push for a meaningful role once the regular season kicks off. Now don't forget about the kicker situation neither. Tyler Loop might be the only kicker on the roster right now, but that doesn't mean his job is locked in. He still has to prove he can handle the pressure. Preseason games are a different animal. The crowd noise, the game speed operation, the pressure of a live rep. It all adds up. Loop has looked good in camp, but tonight is another level. How does he respond when the lights come on? We're about to find out. And what about the battle at inside linebacker Trenton Simpson versus rookie Teddy Buchanan? That's a real competition, folks. Simpson was expected to slide right into a starting role this year, but Buchanan has shown up looking like a veteran. Already, both guys will likely see significant playing time tonight, and you better believe the coaching staff will be watching every snap. Who's more decisive? Who diagnoses plays faster? Who looks like they can hold up against starting caliber? Offenses, these reps matter a lot. Bottom line, there's a lot to be excited about. Not just because football is back, but because we get our first real look at the next wave of Ravens talent. Guys like Adisa Isaac on the edge, Charlie Kolar at tight end, LaJohntay Wester in the return game, and even someone like Anis Peebles, a name that's starting to pop up more and more among insiders as someone who could surprise. Every year there's that one name that goes from preseason standout to regular season contributor. The question is, who's it going to be this year? So tonight isn't just about a win or loss. It's about impressions. It's about momentum. It's about opportunity. These preseason games might not count in the standings, but they count to the guys fighting for roster spots, for snaps, and for the belief of the coaching staff. They count for every backup looking to prove they're more than just depth, and every rookie trying to make a dream into a career. While the spotlight tonight will surely shine on the rookies and those fringe starters, the depth of this Ravens roster means we'll get to see some intense, meaningful football all throughout the night. The real beauty of preseason football isn't in the big names or flashy stats. It's in watching position battles unfold in real time, seeing who rises under pressure, and maybe catching the birth of a future star before anyone else sees it. Coming. Let's start in the trenches where the offensive line will be under the microscope. With most of the starters sitting, this is a golden opportunity for players like Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Faalele to show they're ready to take on significant roles when the regular season begins. Voorhees has had a long road back after his injury, but by all accounts, he's looked strong and steady in camp. He's aggressive, he's physical, and you can see flashes of the guy who was once considered a day 2 lock before his injury set him back. Faalele, meanwhile, has slimmed down, moved better in space, and appears to be turning a corner in terms of consistency. If he's able to hold down his side of the line and keep the pocket clean, that'll go a long way in earning the staff's trust as a swing tackle or even more. And then there's Charlie Kolar, the forgotten man, in a tight end room that already includes 2 high-profile names in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. But don't sleep on Kolar. He's had a very strong camp making plays over the middle and catching the eye of Lamar Jackson, who openly praised him during a press conference. Kolar is big, he's smart, and he knows how to find soft spots in zone coverage, the kind of skill set that makes life easier for a quarterback. If he can continue that momentum into preseason games, he could quietly become one of the most reliable safety valves in the offense. And don't forget, a strong preseason also helps make a case for future contract decisions. Everyone's talking about Mark and Isaiah when it comes to tight end extensions, but Kolar is playing for a future deal too. These reps matter. You also have to keep an eye on the wide receiver room, which is deeper than it's been in a long time. Behind the top trio of Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins, things are wide open. Tylan Wallace has special teams value, sure, but if a guy like Tez Walker keeps showing up the way he has in camp, he could force his way into the top 4 rotation. The difference with Walker is his physical profile. He's not just another possession guy. He's got size, burst, and the ability to win in traffic. And he's not just relying on athleticism. Coaches have praised his work ethic, his route running, and his grasp of the playbook. That's how you go from a camp body to a real contributor. Tonight is the first test. LaHonte Wester is another intriguing name. He's flashed both as a receiver and as a returner, and in a preseason environment, versatility is gold. If he can show sure hands and make a couple of big returns, his chances of making the 53-man roster go way up, especially considering how much the Ravens have lacked in the return game since the departure of Devin Duvernay. Wester could fill a real need there, but he'll need to be sharp. He's had a few drops in camp, and that can't carry over to game action. There's also Dayton Wade, who had an excellent preseason last year and somehow managed to sneak on to the practice squad. That might not be the case this time around. If he puts together another strong August, there's a real chance another team comes knocking. You can't keep everybody, and Wade is exactly the type of player that can shine in these settings. Quick, precise, and dependable. He's fighting not just for a Raven spot, but for a job somewhere in the league. Flipping to the defensive side, there's even more intrigue. Trenton Simpson is a player the team wants to believe in. He's big fast, and when he's confident, he can be a sideline-to-sideline monster. But there's been inconsistency. The reads aren't always quick, the angles aren't always clean, and at times he looks like a guy still thinking too much on the field. That's dangerous at inside linebacker, and it's why Teddy Buchanan has become a legitimate threat to take that job. Buchanan looks like a seasoned vet out there. He processes fast, he reacts instantly, and he plays with zero hesitation. It's hard not to see a bit of Zach Orr in the way he moves. Not the most gifted physically, but constantly in the right spot, always around the football. Coaches love that. And if he keeps stacking good games, the staff is going to have a very difficult decision to make. Because as much as you want Simpson to develop, you can't ignore production. And Buchanan looks like a guy who's ready to produce. At edge rusher, David Ojabo enters this preseason with a lot to prove. Once considered one of the highest upside players in his draft class, injuries have kept him from truly getting his career off the ground. This year, there are no more excuses. He's healthy. He's got a full off season under his belt. And now it's time to show why the Ravens bet on him. He'll likely get extended run tonight, and that's a good thing. Ojabo needs reps, and he needs to show that he can finish plays, not just get close. Pressure is great, but sacks matter. And if Ojabo wants to be more than just a rotational player, he's got to start stacking those numbers now. Behind him, Adisa. Isaac is another young pass rusher who's quietly put together a solid camp. He's raw but powerful. He flashes in individual drills, and the Ravens are high on his long-term potential. Preseason is where guys like him earn their stripes. He'll get a shot tonight to make noise, and every pressure he generates helps his cause. On the defensive line, don't forget about Anas Peebles. He was one of the more underrated picks of the Ravens draft class, but his tape shows real pass rush juice. He's not going to eat up double teams or anchor the run like Travis Jones or Michael Pierce, but that's not what he's being asked to do. Peebles is a disruptor, someone who can shoot gaps, win with quickness, and create havoc on third downs. Baltimore doesn't have a ton of interior pressure specialists. If Peebles can show he can do that consistently, he's going to force his way into the rotation. Coaches notice when you can win one-on-one and affect the quarterback from the inside. That's how you make a team. And how about the secondary? There's a lot of young talent fighting for attention. TJ Tampa is someone the coaching staff is watching closely. He's got good length ball skills and plays with a chip on his shoulder. The Ravens have been aggressive about rebuilding their cornerback depth, and Tampa could be a real gem if it puts it all together. He's expected to get significant snaps tonight, and this Colts receiving group, even if they're missing some top names, will give him a decent test. And then there's safety. Malachi Starks has that starting spot. all but locked up, but the Ravens have several other young safeties looking to carve out roles. Suzie Kane and Bo Braid are two names you might not know yet, but you should. Both have flashed during practice, and both are in the mix for special teams and sub-package roles. The Ravens love to play with 3 safety looks, and these preseason games are the best chance for those guys to prove they can be trusted in live action. Special teams, as always, will be a factor in roster decisions, and no spot is under more scrutiny than kicker. Tyler Loop is the guy now. There's no one else on the roster, but that doesn't mean the job is safe. He's had a solid camp, made some big kicks during stadium practice and joint sessions, but preseason games are where reputations are made or broken. How does he handle a 48-yard field goal with a live rush coming at him and fans screaming? How does he respond after a miss? These are things coaches are evaluating closely. Loop has the talent, that much is clear, but consistency under pressure is what separates an NFL kicker from just another camp leg. Let's not forget, too, that these games are being closely watched by teams across the league. Even if a player doesn't make Baltimore's final 50, 3 strong preseason tape could lead to a spot on another team's roster or practice squad. Every rep counts. Every snap is an audition. So as the Ravens take the field tonight, don't get caught up in the score. Look deeper. Watch the matchups. See who communicates well on defense. See which wide receivers separate early. See who's still flying around in the fourth quarter. Those are the signs of players trying to make a name for themselves. Players who understand that these moments could determine the trajectory of their careers. And that's what makes preseason football beautiful. It's raw, it's unpredictable, and it's full of opportunity. This is where legends begin. This is where someone like Justin Tucker, an undrafted kicker from Texas, won a job and went on to become the greatest of all time. This is where players like Patrick Ricard forced their way onto the roster with relentless effort and versatility. This is where future starters, captains, and Pro Bowlers first showed their spark. For the Ravens tonight is about more than football being back. It's about seeing the future unfold in real time. From Mike Green's first step off the edge to Keaton Mitchell's burst through the second level to Charlie Kolar work in the middle of the field. These are the snapshots that will shape the Ravens roster. These are the reps that determine who's ready, who needs more time, and who's just not going to make the cut. And for the fans, this is the moment to lock in and see who's going to earn that purple and black. Because while the stars might be resting on the sideline, the fire on the field will be real. The hunger, the urgency, the passion, it all counts. Because for dozens of players out there tonight, this isn't just a preseason game. It's the beginning of everything. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL and sports media across the United States, the Baltimore Ravens have reportedly made an audacious attempt to reshape their roster by targeting CHUBA Hubbard, the standout Canadian running back, currently with the Carolina Panthers. According to insiders who prefer to remain unnamed, the Ravens front office has been quietly evaluating Hubbard's unique combination of speed, agility, and football IQ for months, and sources suggest that preliminary talks may already be underway. While nothing has been officially confirmed by either franchise, the mere association of Hubbard with Baltimore has ignited a flurry of speculation among fans and analysts alike, who are now debating whether the Ravens could be positioning themselves to dominate the running game in the upcoming NFL season. The rumor mill suggests that Hubbard's performance metrics, particularly his yards after contact and versatility in both rushing and receiving situations, have caught the eye of head coach John Harbaugh and his offensive coordinators, prompting whispers of a potential blockbuster acquisition that could dramatically alter the competitive landscape of the league. Even commentators who traditionally avoid conjecture have taken to social media to dissect the implications of such a move, weighing the risks, potential trade packages, and long-term strategies that could accompany a signing of this magnitude. While the story remains speculative, its impact on public discourse around the Ravens and Panthers has been immediate and pronounced, creating a wave of anticipation that refuses to dissipate. Rumors indicate that Hubbard, who has steadily built a reputation as one of the most promising young talents in professional football, could bring an entirely new dimension to Baltimore's offensive schemes. Observers note that his agility in open space, combined with his Canadian roots and international appeal, could enhance the Ravens' visibility not just domestically, but across North America, potentially attracting new fans and media attention. Sources close to the situation hint that Hubbard's contract status with the Panthers may be a pivotal factor in the unfolding scenario, suggesting that negotiations could involve complex arrangements, including draft picks or conditional clauses. Tied to performance incentives, analysts speculate that the Ravens front office, known for strategic and often unconventional decisions, may be willing to take calculated risks to secure Hubbard, anticipating that his presence could rejuvenate a backfield that has faced inconsistency in recent seasons. Furthermore, insiders suggest that this rumored pursuit aligns with Baltimore's broader offensive philosophy, emphasizing a balanced attack that can exploit mismatches and sustain drives under pressure. Social media platforms are already buzzing with hypothetical scenarios in which Hubbard pairs with Lamar Jackson, imagining the electrifying combination of Jackson's improvisational passing skills and Hubbard's explosive rushing capabilities, fueling endless debate among fans, commentators, and former players about how such a partnership might revolutionize the Ravens' game plan and impact the league at large. Even though official statements remain absent, the mere suggestion of Hubbard joining Baltimore has sparked widespread curiosity and energized discussion, making this rumor one of the most talked about potential moves of the NFL offseason. Addition to the tactical implications, there is significant chatter surrounding the potential cultural impact of Hubbard's arrival in Baltimore, particularly given his status as one of Canada's rising football stars. Observers note that his journey from Canadian college football to the NFL has been marked by perseverance and skill development, and the prospect of him playing in a storied franchise like the Ravens adds a layer of narrative intrigue that media outlets are already capitalizing on. Sources close to league insiders have hinted that Hubbard's skill set could allow him to contribute immediately, suggesting that the Ravens might be planning creative ways to integrate him into their offensive formations, including using him as a dual threat option in both passing and rushing schemes. Analysts are speculating about potential challenges as well, such as adapting to a new playbook and adjusting to a different team culture. But the prevailing sentiment among rumor enthusiasts is that Hubbard's work ethic and adaptability could make him an ideal candidate to thrive under such circumstances. Discussions among fans have also highlighted the symbolic importance of a Canadian athlete making headlines in a high-profile American team, which could open doors for international marketing initiatives, endorsements, and cross-border fan engagement. While all of this remains speculative, the combination of Hubbard's athletic profile and the Ravens' strategic positioning has created a narrative that is impossible to ignore, turning him into a central figure in off-season discourse, with debates about his potential contributions dominating podcasts, sports columns, and fan forums alike, demonstrating how a single rumored acquisition can capture the imagination of a nation already hungry for football news. Industry insiders have not ruled out the possibility of a high-stakes negotiation process involving multiple teams, with the Panthers potentially leveraging Hubbard's market value to secure additional assets. Some rumors even suggest that Baltimore might be considering unconventional trade structures involving draft swaps or performance-based incentives that could keep the deal feasible while maximizing potential returns for Carolina. Analysts are closely monitoring patterns from previous blockbuster acquisitions, noting that the Ravens have historically displayed patience and precision in acquiring talent that fits their system, which fuels speculation that they could view Hubbard as a long-term investment rather than a short-term solution. The buzz extends to media personalities who have begun outlining what-if scenarios that range from immediate starting roles to rotational play that could optimize Hubbard's explosive speed without compromising team dynamics. Fans have taken to Twitter and sports forums to hypothesize about how Hubbard's skill set might pair with veteran players, creating endless debate over potential breakout games, statistical benchmarks, and impact on playoff prospects. The rumor is so pervasive that even casual observers of the league are now aware of the potential move, signaling that the mere possibility of Hubbard joining the Ravens has achieved cultural penetration beyond hardcore fan circles, illustrating the power of speculation in shaping public perception and media cycles, and demonstrating that, regardless of the outcome, this story has already succeeded in generating significant attention and discussion across multiple platforms. Finally, while the Baltimore Ravens and Carolina Panthers have not issued official statements confirming any negotiations or intentions to trade Chuba Hubbard, the mere presence of these rumors has transformed off-season discourse and captured the attention of sports media nationwide. Pundits are speculating not only about Hubbard's individual capabilities, but also about how his potential addition could shift the balance of power within the AFC North, and whether Baltimore's offensive philosophy could fully leverage his versatility as both a rusher and receiver. The conversation extends beyond the field, with discussions about marketing, fan engagement, and international visibility becoming central to the narrative, highlighting the multifaceted implications of a single high-profile acquisition. Sources suggest that Hubbard's adaptability and skill could allow him to make an immediate impact, sparking debates about potential synergy with current Ravens stars, coaching strategies, and how opponents might adjust their defensive schemes to counter his presence. Meanwhile, social media platforms, podcasts, and sports networks are amplifying every shred of information, speculative or otherwise, creating a snowball effect that keeps the rumor alive and evolving in real time. Whether or not this potential move materializes, it has already succeeded in generating unparalleled attention, illustrating the NFL's unique ability to blend talent acquisition, fan excitement, and strategic intrigue into a narrative that captivates audiences nationwide. As the offseason progresses, one thing remains certain. The rumor of Chuba Hubbard joining the Ravens has become one of the most discussed and analyzed possibilities of the year, and fans, analysts, and players alike will continue to monitor every development with keen interest, eager to see whether speculation transforms into reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.